Hey everyone, Michael Pickens here, host of the Libertarian Leadership Academy podcast, where I interview candidates and activists in the Libertarian Party doing some amazing things all around the country. Today we have a self described boomer libertarian coming all the way from Montana. His name's Dave Walker. He's a District 4 chair out there. Dave, how are you?
Just fine, doing great.
Awesome. So, the first question I always ask everyone is why? Well, you're not running for office, but why are you the District 4 chair? Why are you active in the Libertarian Party? What brought you in?
Well, in 2016, I woke up and said, gee, this is the best we can do. Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton.
Yep.
Surely with 350 million people, we can do better than this. And since then, we have not. We have not done any better. We've done a lot worse. And I said, I got to do something.
Yeah.
I kind of came to the conclusion that if you're not going to get involved in politics, you either think the country's going in the right direction, or you think that I can't do anything. And I refused either one of those questions. So I said, looked around and I said, I cannot, any stretch of the imagination, can I become a Democrat? No. I've been voting basically for the R at the end of the name for the past
Yeah.
50 years. I didn't pay much attention. My father was a Republican. He was a Republican from the days when Republicans actually did mean something. Not much, but they did. And I could not possibly become a Democrat, and I was not very happy with the Republicans anymore. So I looked around and I said, hey, this Libertarian Party kind of sounds interesting. You know, leave me alone, smaller government, spend less money. Hey, I think that, especially the non-aggression principle caught me by surprise. But that's something I can believe in. And so actually, my daughter turned me on to good old Dave Smith. And I
Hmm.
listened to him for a while. He's gone a little strange lately. I liked his comedy more than what he's doing lately, but I still believe in what he. I listen to him all the time.
Hmm.
He's very, very good on what he believes, and I don't disagree with almost anything he says. But Dave Smith turned me on to Ron Paul, uh, Tom Woods, and Bob Murphy. I listened to the Contra Krugman when they had that podcast years ago, and I get most of my news these days from podcasts and various other social media. The mainstream media is just trash. They really don't tell us anything we need to know. Even Fox News has now gone in the toilet. Uh, I still occasionally I watch Tucker Carlson on YouTube and others, streaming media. But, I'm a nerd. I've been a nerd. Actually, you told me your age a little earlier. I've actually been a nerd before you were born. I got my first computer in 1977.
Oh,
Uh,
wow.
yeah, it had 16K of RAM and two double density 90K disk drives, the old five and a half inch floppy disks. Yeah, that was a long time ago. And it's amazing I figured out how much more memory and everything, this stupid little thing I carry in my wallet or in my pocket has that much more memory than that first computer. It's like a billion times more. I can't remember. Oh, actually, I do remember. It has, nope, I don't. I took it off the back of my phone. I had written it out one time on how much
Yep.
more memory it has. But it's amazing that we now have equivalent to the Akashic records in our phone. Uh,
Yep.
we can look everything in the world up. Anyway, I got involved in the Libertarian Party. I went up to the convention back in 2016, and there were about 15 people there, and they started going around the room looking for district chairman people. And
Hmm.
I think I was raising my hand to go to the bathroom, and I became District 4 chairman. But that was about that easy. And I've been that ever since. I've gotten more and more involved with the party. I'm a little too old to run. My wife would kill me if I ran for office. Uh, Other than that, I believe in the party a whole lot. We need less government, smaller government. We need to start spending less money and get the hell out of the wars that we're in everywhere.
Yep.
Wars are good for business, but lousy for lots of other things. But we got to somehow rein in our government, make them stop doing stupid things, which they continue to do. Even good old Trump, I kind of thought he made some good pledges when he went to the convention, but he has not followed through on any of them. He did get Ross Ulbricht released, but other than that, he has not done anything that he promised he would do. So, I guess he kind of, I think he's got a couple of libertarians on his cabinet, but they're not very vocal about it right now. And I thought decent about Trump before he got elected, but I've lost all faith in him now. He's just fallen through the cracks. He's being bought off by Washington. I mean, the cesspool of Washington seems to catch everybody into it. I don't know what they've got. Well, with all the Jeffrey Epstein, I think that probably is still sorry about that. Still very powerful. They seem to corrupt everybody that goes anywhere near the place.
Yeah.
So anyway,
yeah, I know it.
That's a long story of my indoctrination into the Libertarian Party.
So you brought up the non-aggression principle. What
Yes.
about the non-aggression principle appeal to you?
Don't hurt people and don't take their stuff. It's real simple. The non-aggression principle is, especially as it applies to foreign policy, we don't seem to be able to keep our bombs in our pants very well. But yeah, what do we have? Something like 160 bases around the country. And why is it our job to defend everybody, defend democracy until we get the right king, the right king in office, and then we leave that king alone?
Yep.
It's we're just such hypocrites about that. I mean, in Ukraine, Zelensky is. I mean, before the war, Ukraine was voted like in the top 6 of the corrupt countries around the world, and now it's still there. I mean, all of the oligarchs from Ukraine are being seen in Switzerland enjoying, the Alps and skiing, and there's no. I mean, it's a corrupt country. It was before the war. It's a corrupt country now, and I don't know how. I mean, and the Israel thing is just insane. Why do we owe them anything? I mean, Bibi Netanyahu came and said we owe them to take care of them. Because of the Holocaust. Wait a minute. As far as I can recollect, we saved them from the Holocaust. We ended Germany and got them out of the Holocaust, or ended the Holocaust. Why do we owe them now? I don't understand that. But apparently, some people think we still owe them for something. I don't know what we owe them for, and I don't know why we're getting so involved in that. I'm not anti-Jewish, but I am anti-Semitic. I don't like I don't like the Israeli government, but I'm not anti-Jewish.
Yeah, well, obviously, we're sending them billions of dollars in weapons and direct, money. Not, they're not the only ones, and we're doing that all around the world. And with
Yep.
all the military bases around the world, we're still providing defense for a lot of countries, including Japan, including Germany, that can take care of themselves.
Yeah.
And we are subsidizing it. We, as in taxpayers, without a say, are subsidizing it, and our debt is going through the roof, as I'm sure you know. And that's something that needs to be addressed.
Aren't we about to pass $40 trillion? We're getting close. We're at 38 or 39, and I'm
I
sure.
can't even keep track.
yeah. Well, Thomas Massey has the little, you can send away and get the little counter, the debt counter that wear on your pocket, on your belt. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I mean, Thomas Massey is the only honest person back in Washington these days. Uh, I'd like to see him run for president, although uh, Trump is Trump has kind of taken that out of his, I mean, off the table.
Yep.
Uh, and I don't know why. I don't really know why. Uh, just because he's the only one that votes no, uh, on, and that makes Trump mad. And but anyway, that's my idea of the perfect candidate would be Thomas Massey. Uh, Marjorie Taylor Greene is gone at this point, so she's out of the running. Uh, Luckily, I don't think the Democrats have very many uh, candidates in the wings. I think if they run Newsom, that's going to be a disaster. I mean, he's already destroyed California. He's done his best to destroy California. Uh, Ilhan Omar, AOC. Now, actually, Ilhan Omar can't run. I don't think she's native born. Uh, but
Nope.
AOC could run. And who was it that said? I think it was one of the comedian comics that if she were 70 years old and fat, she wouldn't have anybody listening to her. But she's good looking and she's cute, but she still speaks just absolute lunacy. Uh, and what's his face is going to destroy New York. Uh, but socialism has never been tried the right way. It's been tried every way. Uh,
Oh yeah.
they've tried socialism, but everyone keeps saying, "Well, I'm not talking about Venezuela. I'm talking about Sweden." No, Sweden has never. They ran a short period of a few years. They tried it for a few years, and they quickly learned that socialism does not work. Uh, no matter where it's tried, it does not work. Because you can't have socialism without basically a very strong government.
Mhm.
Uh, and that's kind of what communism is. you know?
Yeah, you hear people on the left that claim to be democratic socialists complain about authoritarianism, but they don't understand that their type of government leads to more authority in government. It
Yeah.
leads to more authoritarianism. It leads to worse outcomes for individuals, less freedom, both in our personal lives and economically. And they just don't understand that it's just a different brand of authoritarianism.
Well, they're looking for someone who's going to take care of them.
Yeah.
Uh, as I coined the phrase, I refer to our two parties as the nannycrats and the Roblicans. Uh, and you know, that's really what they are. The nannycrats want to take care of you, and the Roblicans want to take your money.
Yeah.
Uh, at least that's a little bit more in the past. The Republicans are still just they're falling apart. They've totally uh, they're banking everything on Trump and his glow of success, but his glow of success is rapidly diminishing. His success numbers are falling like crazy. And again, luckily, I don't think the Democrats have anybody that they're going to put up next time. If they put Newsom up, they're dead. I don't. I think J.D. Vance could beat Newsom. I'm not sure who the Republicans are going to put up. Probably Vance. Uh, but who else? Uh, after Trump jumping on Massey, I think Massey could probably do a decent job if it weren't for Trump's, you know, belittling and just trashing him to death. But that's a personal problem there. Uh, but who knows? By the time we get to 28, 28, uh, the Jeffrey Epstein thing could kill everybody. It's
Yeah.
just, it's it's taking people down left and right. Uh,
Well, the thing is, when Trump ran, like you said before, he ran on some promises, right?
Yeah.
Reduce taxes, reduce government. He was going to implement Doge. He wasn't going to get us in more wars overseas or military interventions. And it's like he just turned around and did the opposite. So
Yeah.
his coalition that he built of libertarians and conservatives and moderates, it has crumbled.
Yep.
So
Well,
his
he's now defined. There's a new Doge, and I can't remember what he's calling it now. There was some to eliminate waste or some. He just did his State of the Union address, and I've only watched it once. Uh, I'm not going to go through it again, but he announced some new department of similar to Doge, but a department of waste management or something like that.
yeah.
Uh, he announced something in his State of the Union that is just like Doge. It sounded like Doge, but who knows what it'll do. Doge, I think, is pretty well gone. Uh,
Oh yeah, they got rid of that as soon as Doge started looking into what it was that the Republicans were doing and the graft in the Republican Party. That's when
yep,
they got shut down.
yep,
So,
yeah. I mean, they don't. Washington does not want to get. Well, again, why would you if you have those kind of purse strings? Why would you want to cut them? You know, why would you want to give away your hammer? Uh, those people get reelected by buying votes, and
yeah,
why would you want to give away your purse strings to buy votes with? They don't. Uh,
no.
and yeah, it's not gonna work well for us out here in the hinterlands. Uh, and actually, every time I watch the news, I'm so happy that I live in Montana. Uh, it's we get none of that. I live in outside of Livingston, which is a nice small town, but the town I live in is Clyde Park, and it has a population of about 625 people.
Oh
Uh,
wow, it's not
yeah,
many.
yeah. I look out and I can see three houses and two mountain ranges. I can see the Rockies, part of the Rockies, and then part of the Belt Mountains, and it's lovely. Uh, yeah, like I say, I see three houses, and I sit in the middle of 160 acres, so I'm happy.
Oh, that's great. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's beautiful. When did you
yeah.
move out there?
I moved out here 25 years ago. Uh,
Okay.
I was actually born. I have had the most blessed life. I was born and raised in Southern California, in Riverside.
Hmm.
Riverside had a population then of about 35,000. And when I first moved to Montana, people said, go back where you came from. And I said, well, when I was in the eighth grade, we had a population of 35,000 people. Now the population is 350,000. So you get those other 300,000 people to leave, and I'll go back. But, I was an hour to the mountains, an hour to the beach. I surfed all summer, I skied all winter. Uh, and after 21 years old, I moved to Seattle.
Hmm.
And I moved to Seattle the year they laid off 80,000 engineers at Boeing. And that was not a good time for a 21-year-old kid to move into Seattle, but I did. And I lived there for 21 years. And then I moved here to Montana, and I've been here ever since. And so I'm gonna die here. And they're gonna scatter my ashes across the plains. Uh, yeah, I've even got. You got to wait for a west wind, and then off my porch, you can scatter my ashes.
Well, awesome.
Yeah, but yeah, I lived in
Are,
Seattle when it was still nice to live in Seattle. We could go to the Pike Street Market and walk around, and now it's basically tent city, from what I understand.
it
Uh,
is. Yeah.
you know, and there's a gal that does a podcast or a YouTube show that she's been going through and showing the economic impact of Democratic governors, and she's picked on California and Illinois and New York, and the number of, I mean, California, Shell Oil just closed off their last refinery. Tesla moved out. all the big companies are moving out of California because the tax rate is so terrible for them. And California is just becoming it's going to die. Uh, they've committed themselves to so many things that now all the big companies that had large numbers of employees that were paying taxes, they're leaving. Uh,
Yep. Same thing
and
is happening here.
yeah, it,
I'm in Washington. I just moved my business out of state, and
yeah,
the reason why that we have a B&O tax here, which is a business and occupation tax. It's on gross revenue, 5% of gross revenue. So that doesn't even include expenses. They've just doubled it to 10%. They've increased taxes all across the board. Big companies like Microsoft and Amazon, they're moving their headquarters, already have started
yeah,
moving their headquarters out. Boeing has been moving out of the state. Big
yeah.
companies are moving out and they're not coming back.
No,
And I know I could probably name 50 people that I was friends or I'm still friends with, but were involved in the Libertarian Party or the Republican Party that all moved out of the state,
yeah,
gone. They don't want to pay anymore. Now we have the income tax coming down the pipeline.
uh,
So that's about to hit. They're saying it's just on millionaires, right? But that's
yeah.
how it starts. In California, that's how it started. In New York, that's how it started. And then eventually it affects everyone.
Once you run out of millionaires, then yeah, yeah,
Yep.
uh,
When you run out of millionaires, the
yeah,
revenue is going to decrease. And that's what's been happening in Washington state is
yeah,
their state revenue has been decreasing. So they increase taxes and increase taxes. And guess what? The revenue keeps decreasing because they keep increasing taxes, but they're also increasing spending at the same time.
yeah,
So it's just getting worse and worse. It was a record tax increase. It was a record budget increase. So spending increase. And it's just going to continue to get worse. The only people moving here now are the ones that want free stuff, not the ones that want to
yeah,
work or create jobs or build a family
yeah,
or build a life. They're the ones that want the free stuff.
yeah.
And that will never work. And you're familiar with Ayn Rand. You've probably read Atlas Shrugged.
Oh yeah, oh yeah,
It was a vision into the future, right? And that's
oh,
what's happening right now. The government is in control of pretty much every aspect of our life. They're too big, they're too bossy. They're taxing everything, taxing everyone, acting as if they can control every aspect, and it's just not going to work over the long term.
yeah. Actually, Ayn Rand and also someone else that I've been watching lately who I always loved was George Carlin, and
Oh yeah, he's
it was
great.
amazing how prophetic he was.
Yep.
He nailed so many things. You know, he was I don't know who it was. I don't know whether it was him or someone else. What was the quote completely? It's a big club, but you ain't in it. Yeah,
Oh yeah, that's
you know,
true. We're not
uh,
in it. We're
yeah,
definitely not in it.
yeah,
But it's amazing here in Washington state. I know in Montana it's a lot different because here we have a Democrat supermajority, right? So they control
yeah,
the governorship, the House, and the Senate, and they can pass anything they want.
yeah,
Yet they still blame the Republicans for everything
yeah.
that doesn't work, even though the Republicans have no control.
Oh yeah. Well, that was
How is
what.
it in Montana?
In Montana, it's different. We have mostly Republicans, uh,
Yep.
and that's what allowed me actually to vote for Chase Oliver, who I thought was sort of an iffy candidate. But I voted for him just because I knew that all four of our electoral votes were going to go for Trump, no matter what. So at least they can get maybe. We always fight a little bit for ballot access. Uh, Luckily, we do have one gentleman who always runs for clerk of the Supreme Court, and he always
Mhm.
gets it. So he keeps us on the ballot. Ballot access is kind of a problem for us here in Montana because if we ever lose our ballot access, then we got to go petition, and we got to get signatures on petitions, and that is a real problem because
Yep.
we can't go to one high-rise office building and collect 400 signatures. Our 400 signatures for us is probably 300 or 400 miles. I mean,
Yeah.
because they're not next door to each other here. They're
Yeah.
acres apart. But no, we have mostly Republicans. A few Democrats floating around. We do have a gentleman coming up he's going to run for state senate, or excuse me, no, he's going to run for U.S. Senate. And actually, he's going to be on my show when I'm done with you tonight.
Awesome.
Yeah, he's going to come up and uh, speak to our folks all about what is going to. He think he's actually running as a Republican, but he thinks he's mostly a libertarian. So
Gotcha.
we're gonna, and that's fine. I mean, we don't. Luckily, we have it part of our bylaws. We're allowed to endorse non-libertarian candidates.
Gotcha.
So many states, state libertarian parties are not. They have it in their bylaws. They cannot endorse anybody who is running not on the libertarian ticket. But we have kept that in our bylaws. It says we can, if we find a candidate who's speaking libertarian, in other words, like a Thomas Massey, we could certainly endorse a Thomas Massey if someone like that were running on the Republican ticket. And personally, if I lived in his state, I would endorse Thomas Massey to the hill.
Yep.
But like I say, we have it in our laws that we can do it. And this gentleman is coming on tonight at 6:00, and you're welcome to join us if you want. Actually, anyone listening to this, if they want to join us, if they go to mtlp.org and go to the events page, there's a link to my podcast or my little Zoom meeting that starts at 6:00 Mountain Time, and they can join us and ask questions and join in. We've had quite a few. We had all 7 of the libertarian candidates when they were running for president, and then we've had Spike Cohen and Matt Kibbe was on.
Awesome.
When Spike Cohen was on, unfortunately, we had they call them the Zoom bombers. We had a gentleman that decided to come on and show us in the act of pleasuring himself. Yeah. So, but we're getting quicker on the button to get him off. So, yeah, I name a 3 of my fellow board members, and they become co-hosts, so we can all hit the ban button quick. And yeah,
Oh,
I know.
geez.
But people, yeah, come on, guys, But yeah, we do occasionally get the fun people.
So, going back to being able to endorse candidates from other parties, I used to be a hardline libertarian where, you had to support the libertarian candidates. Now I'm more open. I'm supporting our Republican sheriff out here. He's a constitutional sheriff. He's very libertarian. He ended the drug task force. He's only going after crimes with victims. I'm supporting a Republican for county commissioner. I helped build her campaign apparatus, helping her out. Then there's a Cascadia party out here that, the basis for Nirvana started. And we have a congressional candidate in my district that's running under the Cascade Party. So I'm supporting him. And obviously I interview libertarians from all around the country. So I'm not as hardline before, and I'm also helping the We the People Party, which was RFK's party when he was running for president. So I'm open. I just want new parties to have some sort of say in what's going on. I'm tired of the old parties and their old ideas and their old way of doing things. And no offense, you said you were a boomer, but I'm talking about old policies that have failed over and over and over again.
Oh,
so
yeah, no, I understand completely, and that's my philosophy. That's why I stay a libertarian, because I'm not sure we're going to elect a president for quite some time, but at least we carry the message. Chase Oliver had a few things that were kind of iffy about him, although he was a very good speaker. He spoke well about the party, and if he could keep his mouth shut about the LGBTQ part, he was a good candidate. He was well spoken. He was clean, and he dressed up pretty well. But If he could just keep his mouth shut about, some of the transgendering of children is still, to me, a very uh, wrong thing.
Yep.
But that's only my opinion.
Well, so we are at the 30-minute mark. How do people find you again? I know you said it. It was MTLP.
MTLP, Montana Libertarian Party, and it's mtlp.org. And then on the right-hand side, there's a place that says events. And if you click on that, then you'll see it comes up. Let me look real quick. Whoops, what did I hit?
No, you're here. I can hear you.
Yep. Okay, I thought I hit something wrong.
And you do a weekly podcast, right? Every Wednesday.
Every Wednesday at 6 o'clock Mountain Time, and it's mtlp.org. And on the right-hand side, it says events, and you'll find it is an event that's weekly Zoom meeting, and it's really easy to find. And if anyone wants to email me, it's dave.walker@mtlp.org. Dave.walker. Yep.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. I enjoyed it immensely, and hope you join me sometime. Oh, actually, you are gonna join me on March 11th. Yep.
March 11th, I'll be on your show. If you're watching this, we got quite a few people watching this right now. I'll be on Dave's show. He's going to be interviewing me for however long it takes for me to get everything out.
Me and all my guests. All right. Thank you kindly.
All right. Yep. Thanks so much, Dave. Take care.
Yep. Bye.